I was emphatic. I'll help you, but keep my name off of stuff.
Right. So did he come to you and say, I think I want to make our story into a book?
Here's how that happened. So he put these control items in front of me. I removed the control items and said, this has nothing to do with the case. And then I wind up getting information about the case, wound up reading for him. And, he had the me moment, the moment that I had when I was first read, where my logical mind was forced to face the reality that this woman couldn't know what she knew. I wasn't really intimidated by him, but I felt like, he was with the FBI.
How tall is he too?
He's 6'8". How tall am I not? 6'8". And then he asked me, can you help me? It wasn't my interest then, to be honest. It's not my interest now.
So what made you say yes to this?
Oldish. The art of knowing more and caring less. With your host, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
So last week, we brought you part one of our conversation with world-renowned psychic medium John Edward. It was a raw and thoughtful look into the human side of intuition. Now in part two, we go behind the scenes of his latest project, Chasing Evil, co-authored with retired FBI agent Bob Hilland. This episode reveals the unexpected story behind how the book came to be and how John crossed a line he never thought that he would. Two very different worlds, one powerful collaboration.
I learned a lot from those rooms and those people with abilities. Some of them were very inspirational and empowering. A lot of them taught me how I didn't want to be.
You figure out how to really connect to people. Bob and I were talking about that before with his line of work. He was saying that is one of the keys to what he does is I sit in a room and I try and make someone feel like we are connected, so then they give me information. They're more open to communicate and express themselves. And it's so funny that your line of work could not be more different,
Correct.
Yet so similar.
Yep.
In that way.
Totally.
So similar we're here doing this podcast and we're in completely different lines. You're living in Portland. You're a life coach. I'm an actor. But we're doing.
What is he?
He's a life coach.
What kind of life coach?
A phenomenal one.
I think we're missing an adjective.
An intuitive one. I'm gonna own it, John.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. See, message.
Fair.
He can't
there
help
you
it.
go.
It just comes
yes,
out.
Yes, message received. Yes, exactly.
I just state the obvious.
So let me ask you something, because I know so many people are familiar with you, are listening to you now. Are you just getting messages all the time?
No.
Because I think there's a misconception,
God.
right? You're just walking around with a radio station on. What is it like for you?
So I think the first time that became so in my face that people thought that was when September 11th happened. We were filming Crossing Over in Manhattan. September 11th happens. The outpouring of letters and support for me was daunting. And I remember going, why are these people sending me letters? I didn't lose anybody in the building. I had nobody that was on the plane. And I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't. There was no logical, connect the dots. And then one woman wrote it in her card to me. She said, I can't imagine with your ability how this must be overwhelming for you. All those people that passed, clamoring in your brain, trying to get messages across to family. And they were going, oh my God, no. What did I do? What did I say that would make people think that? And there was nothing that I did, and there was nothing that I said that would make people think that. But there was nothing that I did or nothing that I said that would not make people think that. And I think that sometimes people wind up going to a place of deducing what they think it must be like.
Exactly.
I would assume that it's like an airport tower. You're sitting there and there's just stuff coming in. And as soon as you walk in, I'm standing in front of you. I'm like, oh man, who's here? Who are you hearing right now as you're looking at? That's what I would assume.
Let's go back to another early moment for me.
Okay.
Where a woman that I studied with, her name was Sandy Anastasi. And Sandy said, would you ever watch your neighbor shower? And I looked at her and I went, what? And she said, your neighbor. She goes, you have a young female neighbor? I said, well, she's older than me, but yeah, why? She goes, attractive? Now, this is a psychic that I respect who's asking this question. I'm like, oh my God, this is making me really uncomfortable. Like, Sandy, where are we going with this? She goes, just answer my question. Would you ever, from the outside of her house, go watch her shower from the outside? And I went, no. She goes, but could you? I'm like, could I physically? Like, well, yes, her bathroom is on the first floor. Right. And I guess technically if I was to go look inside the window, I could. Why are you asking me this? She goes, just because you could doesn't mean you should. Never do it psychically. And I went,
so
okay.
Only if you're invited to.
So, right.
Okay.
So the genesis of that statement is never enter someone's vibration without their consent. Mm. If they didn't ask you to do it, it's none of your business. So just because I could do that doesn't mean I should do that. And then we enter into where we are in, our timeline in this world where people can pick up TikTok and make an account that says psychic medium, whomever, and do stuff like that and put out information that the masses will eat up because they want to believe that the power of that connection was so strong that I had to deliver that message over TikTok in a DM. No, you need to power your energy down. And if you do this work, there's a time and place when you do it. Supermarket's not the time and place. Target parking lot is not the time and place. You could have the greatest intentions or not, and you could do more damage than good.
My head goes right to like AI. I cannot imagine how many people there's a video of you speaking on whatever that they've created that they're putting out, and people go, oh my God, that's gotta be.
I'm less, honestly, right now concerned about the AI portion of this. Uh-huh. I'm more concerned about people that I refer to as unlicensed drivers. Remember, I was guilty of that. Unlicensed drivers who are doing readings on people and giving them information because they can't. And I know this factually because I sit with the people and then they ask me the questions. Like, are they okay? Because I went for a reading with a blah, blah, blah person and they told me that they were stuck and they can't come through and I need to give them more prayers. I'm like, was the medium stuck or was the person stuck? Because I'm going to tell you it was probably the person that couldn't do the reading. Mm-hmm. And I think crossing over was an amazing opportunity, but there were certain things I wasn't allowed to do on the show, right? And using the word psychic back then, believe it or not, was not one of the words that was allowed. Don't ask. It was just the timing, right? It was 2000. Mm-hmm. The word psychic was highly identified with like the 1-900 dial of psychics at that time, right? So it had a negative connotation.
Just Cleo or something, right?
So it had a negative connotation.
Yeah.
So we had to go around certain things. But I wish that I could have distinguished the difference between a psychic and a medium, because every medium, person who connects with the afterlife and energies who've crossed over, every medium is psychic. They just specialize as a medium, because you can't be a medium without being psychic.
Right.
This is not, anybody that says that, they're just wrong. But not every psychic is a medium.
Is a medium.
Right.
Right? So I always respect the psychics, the card readers, the numerologists, the people who go, oh, this is my lane, this is what I do. I don't do mediumship. I'm gonna send you to a medium for that. If you want to connect with grandma, you got to go to a medium. This is what I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm confident with what I do. I respect those people. What I don't respect, and there's a lot of it, everybody calls themselves psychic medium. I'm a psychic medium. And then you see them online flipping tarot cards, giving messages from dad. No, you're not. You're flipping tarot cards, giving messages from dad. Mm. And I just sit back and I go, and people love it. And I think, cotton candy is not protein. And you need protein to survive, right? Your physical body needs like some form of protein.
Right.
You can't survive on cotton candy. That fluffy cotton candy kind of message stuff. And then I wind up like on social media blocking all of this because I'm confrontational when I see stuff. And I'm like, I don't really like this. This is not healthy. And then I'm like, this is not my space.
How does someone have discernment to know the difference?
I think it's very hard right now because people don't seek things out. It finds them. Mm. We don't live in a culture.
Algorithmically?
Yes. things are fed to you. So if you're listening to this right now, think about where you're getting your information from, because it's being fed to you. Instagram is a feed. YouTube is a feed. Facebook is a feed.
And it's being fed with an opinion.
Correct.
Like it's not just giving you information and going, hey, you're welcome. Make your own opinion based on these facts that we're giving you.
So I don't like in the entertainment world, when I go to watch something, a movie, TV, whatever it is, and it's produced to make me feel a certain way. I want to feel the way I want to feel.
So then you're not a fan of reality TV.
I hate reality television with a hot, fiery passion.
Right, because there's nothing real about it. It's
a
like
hot, fiery passion. I wouldn't want the karma of the producers of what that conflict TV is.
Right.
Like Real Housewives and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
Not a fan.
Oh.
Like
sure.
I'm very open about that, because I
sure.
think what it does is it reinforces bad behavior. It makes people say, this is how you're supposed to be.
I mean, I would assume too, the karma, the energy that you're putting out, producing that kind of stuff for people to consume, that's going to come back to you in a horrible way at some point.
Can you share about karma and what you mean? Because I know that also gets very misunderstood, even the word karma, as you know it and see it. How do you define that?
I just think that what we put out into the universe, we have to be accountable for. And at some point, that kind of comes back to you, right? That boomerang of energy. So what you put out as a pebble, get ready for a boulder, right? What you put out as a little teaspoon of water is coming back as a gallon. It's gonna come back, and you're gonna see it, you're gonna feel it, you're gonna watch it, you're gonna witness it in some way. And even if they don't have the consciousness to recognize that it's karma, they're still gonna deal with it, right? So, and that doesn't mean that everybody on a reality show is a bad person, but I think there's a lot of negativity that comes out of that. And what I hear people say is, oh, it's just for fun. Oh, it's my escape. Oh, it's my this or it's my that. But what it's really doing is reinforcing bad behavior. It's creating conflict for people.
Right. Yeah. It's validating.
So that they can see that. And then people emulate that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And it's probably because I know how television's produced, because it's a lot of what I fought when I was doing television.
You fought for authenticity, so that is the exact opposite. Yeah.
So I'm sure between various social media platforms and shows like that, you can see everything that's going on. Is this why you developed Evolve Plus?
Yes. Yeah. First of all, my office won't let me on my Facebook page. I'm not allowed on Facebook.
My office won't let me on.
They changed the password.
Fantastic.
To make sure that I can't go on there.
You can't go on.
We had an issue. We had a big issue.
Okay.
The issue was when Evolve was happening, it was originally on a website, and it was part of my website. So it was a subscription, but you did it through the website. Right now, Evolve Plus TV is a app and a platform, which is really awesome. It's like my
It's
passion.
great. I went on it.
Yeah.
You told me about it. I went on it. I've been on it. It's a really cool, for anyone who wants to follow your work, to have a community of astrology, and there's motivation, there's who was the mindfulness, grief. I mean, there's a community which we're missing.
Can I get a verified Randy Spelling on
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Can that happen?
Yeah.
Can you do live
totally.
streams for the? Okay, you're here to hear.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to, for the summer that year, for the people who couldn't afford to be part of Evolve, I'm like, you know what? Let's do 90 days of summer Evolve. And we took pieces of the Evolve with John Edward show, meditations and affirmations, and we put it on Facebook every day for free and invited people to come be a part of it, saying that we understand that there's a cost to produce this, and we understand that if you can't afford this, we want you to be a part of it. We don't want to leave you out. You're on my page. You're part of this. And we did it for about 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks into it. And I was like excited because I felt like, oh, I want to see people like what their responses are.
Yeah.
And I went on. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. I should have never went on. And that moment, renamed Facebook Bitch Book.
Wait, what? Okay, so for the people that don't understand, why shouldn't you have gone on?
Because I read the comments.
Yes.
I read the actual comments.
Yeah.
And I went in with an expectation of appreciation. Like, hey, thanks for putting these up. Thanks for doing this.
Right.
And the comments had a theme. And the theme was they couldn't afford it. And I was like confused because it was free. I'm like, do they mean time? Like they can't afford the time commitment? Like, because I was trying to find the framework of what they couldn't afford. So it taught me that people don't read and people just love to complain. So they didn't read and get what we were doing. And I'm like, no, like this is like free. So I probably read one too many comments like that over a 2-week period of time. And I wrote up something that could not have been more sarcastic and snarky. And I have a Scorpio rising, so if anybody understands astrology, and I went to the vice president of my company, who was my cousin, and everybody knows her. Shout out to Kat. And I said to her, I go, post this. And she read it and she went,
Nope.
please don't let me post it. I was like, I want it posted, and I want it posted verbatim. She goes, nobody's going to believe you wrote this. She goes, they're going to think I wrote this. She goes like, please don't let me post this. And I went, in front of me, post it. And it blew up. Like, I was like, I poked the internet bear on my page. And she's like, why? I go, because I want them off. I was like, I don't even want their energy here because that energy is not good. So if that is where they're coming from, they are not in alignment with what I'm trying to do, which means that they can bring this page down. And that was the beginning of me going, okay, I don't want to be just on social media. How do I do this? And EvolvePlusTV.com was created. And then I created the app, and now we have the platform, and it's void of politics. It's void of like divisive conversations like religion. And it is a command, not a title. So it's Evolve Plus. And the TV part of it is we have actually produced shows for it. So there's produced content that's on there. But we have like a ton of live streams with all these verified creators.
Yeah.
And people are inspired and they're empowered. And that's my job. My job is to teach. My job is to lead people better than I find them. And this is a platform that I can do that with.
That's so interesting. I mean, like, it's interesting because I get it. Like, I remember early on before we started doing the podcast, I like connecting with people on social media. I was one of those, like, when I first got into social media, I would read comments, and then of course I'd be pissed about them, and I would want to, be venomous and say, and I quickly pulled myself back up out of that, and I was like, I can't. That's just not me. It doesn't.
Because then you get a hostility hangover.
Right.
That lingers. It stays with you.
So then I was like, oh, okay, let me instead use that. Like, let me find the comments that are really off-putting, where they're really trying to instigate something, and instead let me try and flip that. Let me get into a conversation with them and go, okay, let's dial this back a little bit. I'm not going to come after you in any way. I'm not judgmental of you. Please don't be of me. And we would get into these conversations, and I got addicted to that feeling then. So then in doing this, like, that was part of it for me of like, I want to sit down, but I don't ever read comments.
I one time had my kids, they were very young, read out loud to camera the comments with the people's names from kids to say it. Because I wanted the perspective of other people, adults, to recognize that words have power and vibration and meaning, and that other people may read, like my kids may read or come across in some way, which, by the way, they were educated at a very young age. Don't Google daddy's name, because I have an entire episode of South Park dedicated to me where I am the biggest douche of the universe. Thank you very much. But
you made it in the zeitgeist of South Park.
Yeah, it's all that. That's like all just the way you look at it.
But here's the positive spin about that. If you were born after 2008, you don't know who I am. You have no intro to me. I left television. I left media.
Right.
And I went and started Evolve. That episode has brought me a new, younger audience because they find me from that and they stay. And it's on everywhere in the world. So I'm appreciative.
Right. Thank you, Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Right, exactly. I selfishly wish that more people, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who experienced your work, but also whether they go on Evolve Plus or can just be in the energy of what you share, because we talked about this. When I watch your readings, so much of it is this light bulb moment that I see going off for people. It's almost like these preconceived notions that they've had, or the structures of how they see life, the universe, everything, they start to pop and dissolve as you share information and they hear it, and there's that confirmation of our energy continues on.
Right.
This is not final. This is not it. And I think there's something so powerful in that, because part of it, yes, they get the messages, they get what grandma said or what so-and-so said, but it is that moment of going, there is more.
Right.
And that's the magic.
And what I tell people at my live events, because I constantly tour, right? I'm constantly on the road. And what I always want people to know is that if you're not read and you're at an event, the event is more for you than for the person who is read.
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody gets read, you immediately become subjective to who did or did not come through. Why did they or did they not say this, right? That's normal human ego. I get that. But if you're not read, then you're wearing everybody's experience. You're wearing everybody's reading. And it's kind of like your family member's backhanded way of getting you to evolve through where you're at, because you're at that event. And it's kind of like, for me, it's, crossing over the TV show came from my live events. So I'm basically still doing crossing over,
Right.
city by city by city. It's just live. And you're in the energy of it. And it's just like, it's probably one of my favorite things to do.
We talk about, like, that's one of our eventual goals of Oldish, is to be doing these live events across the country. And
Count me in when you do that.
having people in theaters and speaking to people and having a microphone and making it this total interactive experience. And we'll get there. Where it's slow, but we'll get there. It will happen. I will manifest that to happen. But it's
2026.
Yeah, I get the draw of it. 2026 Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
20, big S.
Right.
I'm writing it down.
Exactly. What color do I need to use?
John? What color do we need to
I would
put
go
that
with
in?
yellow.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk about the book.
Your new book, written with Bob Hilland.
Yeah.
Right? Robert Hilland.
Can we talk about that relationship
Sure.
a bit? So you reached out to him.
No.
He reached out to you.
Yes.
And so
and reach out is a loose term.
yes. Okay. So
Yeah, so set it up for us.
From what I've heard from him, he had seen what you were doing, and he had heard you, and he wanted to meet you, honestly, to catch you pulling the wool over everybody's eyes with what it is you did.
He set me up.
And he wanted to like convict you of something, and he wanted to like put you in prison. Like he was angry that you were there.
Yeah, he didn't like me.
No,
He didn't like the fact that a radio station that I was a frequent guest on, where we took callers and doing readings, he didn't like the fact
he
that I
thought
was
you were
on.
fooling everybody.
Yeah, he thought, in his words, I was a con.
Yeah.
So he called up my office, and my assistant set up something for me to work with him. And I remember him coming in, and you've met him, so you know he's an intimidating individual. He's a big guy. Long story short, he brought control items. So he brought like 5 items that were for the missing person, and then he brought 4 additional items from 4 different people that he worked with in the office. So he put these control items in front of me, and I removed the control items and said, this has nothing to do with the case. And then I wind up, getting information about the case, wound up reading for him, and it, he had the me moment, meaning the moment that I had when I was first read, where my logical mind was forced to face the reality that this woman couldn't know what she knew. Like, she couldn't read my mind because it wasn't in there. It hadn't happened yet. No one in my family could have given her a heads up about what wound up happening. He had that moment with me. So like I did to him what was done to me reading wise. So, and I wasn't really intimidated by him, but I felt like a sense of, he was with the FBI, right? So I felt a sense of.
Wait, how tall is he too?
He's 6'8".
He's
How tall am I not? 6'8".
right, exactly. Yeah, no, he's intimidating. He's a big guy.
He casts like a 9-foot energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's an intimidating, when you meet him, kind of guy.
Yeah.
amazing heart,
Amazing.
amazing soul.
Yeah.
And his dedication to what he does and helping victims and finding solutions. You want a lot of Bob Hillands out there. You want that. But that's how he came to me. And then he asked me, he's like, can you help me? And I remember looking at him like, I don't know. I don't do this. This is not my world. Because my dad was a New York City police officer who told me two things. Don't sully my name, and definitely don't let me find out you're working with the police. Because he was a New York City police officer. And he's like, he didn't want any backlash or embarrassment. And I never did. Like I never, like I didn't reach out to, New York police or do anything like that. There have been moments where I got pulled in. I was asked about things. I got information in readings that stuff had happened. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't my interest then. To be honest, it's not my interest now.
So what made you say yes to this?
I think it was the way my assistant put it to me. It was just presented to me in a way like, you need to do this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And I could have said no, but I think that for me now, let me just get out the realities, like the reality of what I want people to know. I want to be like ethical and forthright. I solved nothing, and I did not work for the FBI.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I worked for him.
Yeah.
I jokingly say I worked for a 3-letter organization called the BOB. And I helped him in the same way that if I read for you, I will give you the same insights that I'm getting. What you do with it is on you. This man just took the information and ran with it. He used it. And when he recognized that it worked, he came back and said, can we do this again? And it intrigued me. And then what I learned in my journey of chasing evil was that I was dealing with some unresolved daddy issues. And he represented this patriarchal energy that I was seeking approval from because I never got it from my dad.
How long ago did you lose your dad?
I don't really feel like I had a dad.
Oh, okay.
So my dad had an alcohol problem, and he was an amazing person, and everybody loved him. But I had not a relationship with him. There was not a communication. I didn't have a dad.
Okay.
And he passed in 2002.
Okay.
Same year my son was born. Not lost on me that the year I became a father was the year I lost my dad, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for the lesson, right? I'm always looking for the understanding.
Yeah.
And you gave him that information that came through for him that you said something like, who's the person in your family with the alcohol problem? Is it you or is it your dad?
Right.
And then he had floored him, right?
And then there was more stuff that came through that he had to get validated from behind the scenes with his family, which then gave more validation because it was information that he did not know. So the process was validated.
Got it.
Yeah. He specifically said, he was like, this book in no way am I trying to change anyone's perception or understanding of what John does. And John played no part in solving these things. He just gave new directions and new things to look towards.
It's a total page turner. I mean, I'm not a big true crime guy, but it's very much a page turner.
Me too.
It's a very cool idea. I mean, for people that are true crime fans, this gives you this really interesting perspective where it's like, okay, I get that, but I also get something that I've never gotten before. So there's more to it than just that one genre. It covers multiple, which is so unique. It's such a cool idea. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It reads very much like a movie. When I was reading it, I felt like I was watching a movie. All the pictures were right there for me. And just your relationship with him and the evolution of that, and him being such a skeptic, and then, even hiding some of the things from other people because he couldn't share this, right? You weren't in there. He can't just share this, how he's getting this information and where the lead is coming from. I mean, it's really fascinating.
Because I was emphatic, like, I'll help you, but keep my name off of stuff. And he would be like, no problem, I want to keep my job.
Right. So did he come to you and say, John, I think I want to make our story into a book?
So here's how that happened. The book opens with a little boy that's missing. And when that case is resolved, we had been working together for a number of years by then. There was a press conference that was happening. And I remember what his energy felt like. His energy for me felt like he needed to be validated on what he just did. And I said to him, if you want to go public with what we just experienced, I'll support you. And he was like, no, I'm good. And I remember having that moment like, okay, good, right? I'm like, okay, good. But I felt like he needed that validation. And then when he retired, we had a lot of conversations, and this should be a movie. People knew the story, and then we talked about it, and then he wrote a manuscript, and it became this snowball-y kind of a thing. And I was like, I'll support you if you want to do this. And then as it kind of came together, it became like a journey. So in a weird way, I never wanted to watch The Walking Dead because I'm like, zombies. And people would say to me, oh, the zombies are, you don't even see them. They're kind of, it's really about the people and the relationships.
That's what I've heard too.
Right?
Is it?
It is. It really does become the zombies become and for me, that's what I kind of feel this book was. It became not so much about the crime, the criminal part of it. Not about the
cases.
For me, it was we were both going through these personal journeys. I was recognizing that I had some paternal things I was working through, and he was recognizing stuff on his own self. So we have those two concurrent stories while these other cases were happening. And it really came down to the validation for him. I felt like he needed it. And I was like, I want to support you. I said, for all the people that do this work, that are out there, I think that they're chasing evil. And how do we acknowledge that? Well, let's acknowledge you. Let's talk about how this happens. And maybe it'll give people an understanding, appreciation for folks that do investigative work, that are out there being police, that are putting themselves on the line, that are doing those things.
What's amazing is you did it for him, but then you got so much out of it also.
Oh, it was a journey that I wasn't expected to go on. Yeah. It wasn't.
The fact that you were open to that, though,
I think you have to be, right? We're here. We're
you have
here.
to be. Not a lot of people are, though.
Oh, I feel like I have to be. I feel like I am a student of the universe. And by the way, not the first time that kind of moments happened for me. I like to look at holistic approaches to healthcare. So I work with a holistic doctor out of Michigan. Mm-hmm. And in his office, there's a woman who runs a company called Cyberscan. And so this woman, Angela's working with me, and they it's really cool. They take an imprint of your energy, and then they read you from your energy from a healthcare perspective, and they talk about what's happening energetically within your system. And it's kind of like a medical reading for me, because she would interpret what she was seeing, and very accurate a couple times before. And this, the third time I went to go see her, she starts talking about my lungs. She's like, how are your lungs? My lungs are great. Mm-hmm. She's like, are you sure? She's like, getting over a cold? I went, nope. She's like, did you ever have pneumonia? I was like, did I have pneumonia? I said, no. I said, I think maybe as a kid I had walking pneumonia. I go, but I can't confirm that. I don't remember. She's pursuing my lungs. And then she goes into my neck. And she goes, how's your neck? I was like, my neck's good. I was like, I was at a Vegas hotel leaving an event. I said, and my cousin and I got into a cab, and the cab was hit. I go, my neck got snapped. I go, is that what you're seeing? And she goes, no, I'm seeing cervical disc disease. I went, cervical disc disease? I go, that's really weird, Angela. I go, my mom was misdiagnosed with cervical disc disease before they found out that she had terminal lung cancer. And she went, well, it looks like we have some unprocessed grief regarding your mom.
Wow.
And I went,
wow.
No, we don't. And she goes, we don't? She goes, but it's presenting in your body. And I went, no, I'm good with my mom. I was like, Angela, you know what I do. And she's like, of course I know what you do. I go, I lecture about my mom. I've written about her. I was like, I'm good with the grief of my mom. I said, I have a really good connection with her and understanding. And she goes, well, from what perspective? I said, from the perspective of a 19-year-old kid who lost his 48-year-old mother. And she kind of just went, what about the perspective of a 44-year-old dad of 2? Did you process it from there? I was not ready for that, because that was probably the age my mom got sick.
Wow.
And I was now in that age.
Yes.
And my younger self was going like, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. My actual self was going like, oh my God, like this just like ripped me open to a whole different level. So yeah, it was a pretty amazing moment. And I was like, okay, what do I got to do? Like, what do I have to do? Like, how do we work on this? And I worked with her and her CyberScan device, and I consciously reworked my mom's grief from a parental standpoint of what if I was the one who had the cancer and I had to leave my kids?
Losing your kids.
And I had to leave them behind.
Yeah.
And was I in a place that I prepared them for if I'm not going to be here? So conversation shifted. How do I communicate with my kids about life and death, the afterlife, and
how do I make sure that they're prepared in case?
Yeah, it's a whole different angle to look at it from. Wow.
Yeah.
So that happened with my mom. Chasing Evil, the book, did that with my dad, right? So, it's a decade later, right? Yeah, it's 11 years later. I'm 55. So I was 44 then, I think. So that energy is still evolving. We're always evolving.
Thank God. I love it. I love evolving.
Right.
It's been amazing having you here for sure.
Thank you.
And because your perspective on everything just is such a great way to continue to help people evolve and look at the world in a different way. It's so easy to get stuck in a perspective, and just sort of be
if anybody's
coasting through the
if
days.
anybody's listening to this and they feel stuck, if you're watching this and you feel stuck, have your astrological chart done. And the reason why I say to do that is a lot of people will talk about, your soul contract, your soul contract, your soul contract. Your natal chart is basically your incarnation, and it's a map and a framework for who you are and what's happening right now. And if you're stuck in some area, have somebody look at your chart.
Do it.
And say, I'm feeling stuck. Like, here's what's happening.
Okay.
It's different than having a psychic reading. When this is the control freak in me. Like, I'm the person that if I go for an astrological consult, I'm going to be like, this is what I need to know. Look at the wheel.
Right, yeah,
do what you got to do. I want to know.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do with Shelly. I would call Shelly and I'd be like, what's going on with this? And she'd be like, hold on, let me get the ephemeris. Let me look at your chart. So from a young age, I learned the importance and the accuracy of astrology with the right person doing it. Mm-hmm. So you have to find the right person as well. And that being stuck moment, I think that once we diagnose what the lesson is in that moment, well, now you can find a solution, and it can help to maybe have you.
Then you're off to the races.
Yeah,
again.
you
All
can
of a
kind of
sudden,
move
it's like,
through
I've
it
got a
differently
new clarity.
with understanding.
I have a new goal.
Well, it can assuage some of the pressure.
Yeah.
Totally. It's so funny too. I'm laughing over here because I was going to sort of take us out with a question like, John, is there one last message you have for everyone? And I was thinking, and you're like, so if anyone's listening right now, one of the men, I'm like, I don't even have to ask the question. So they'll just
Actually, no. So I have a quick question for you and out, because I think I've always been so impressed by what it is you do. In you looking at your legacy, what you want to leave behind, what does that look like for you?
I like to leave people better than I find them, and I would like to know that my words mattered, how I did things mattered, that I inspired people to know that life and love are eternal, that there's a survival of consciousness, and that maybe I got people talking. I got them to evolve through circumstances, that I made a difference. I think that's kind of simple. Like I meant that I mattered and made a difference.
Well, I certainly think you are now.
So good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
John.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for being here.
Boy, we're gonna have to unpack this for a few. We may need to have you back at some point. I hope you are in town.
A live event in 2026.
Live event in 2026. It's in the cards.
In yellow.
Yellow, right?
In
yellow.
In yellow.
Right, in yellow, in the book. Thank you to everybody that watches, that listens. We love bringing you this show. We love having incredible guests like John on the show. Please, if you could, subscribe. It's I know it's a very simple thing to do, but it makes a massive difference for us. It allows us to continue to bring this show to you. We love doing this show. So thank you to everyone that tuned in. Share this with people that you think this really could influence and help.
Oh, and also the book. Hold up the book. Chasing Evil, out now.
Chasing Evil is out now. It's a really cool one. We now have spoken to John and Robert, and I love sharing this with everyone.
Can I just say something before I leave?
Yeah.
I've done a lot of these. I've been in a lot of places, and I've been interviewed by a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
You guys bring a level of authenticity. So I want the people that are watching this to know, and I'm not just saying this, because people know me, though I wouldn't just say this. There's a level of interest that you're bringing to what you're doing, and it's kind of cool to sit here and feel that. So I appreciate the authenticity of your questions and the vulnerability of sharing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to get teary.
I know.
Thank you.
Right.
I mean, that's the goal.
That's why we're here. When we first talked on the phone, and I was watching all of his social media stuff also, sunrises, flowers, and I reached out. I hadn't seen him in years, and I reached out to him and I was like, hey, so I couldn't help but notice all the stuff that you post, and it is so inspiring, and you have such a great way of sharing who you are. And so that's how we started even talking about this podcast. That's what it came out of. And that's our goal. Our goal, honestly, is to have guests on here and create a safe space for us all to have a conversation. It's not as much as this is an interview of people, we don't want it to feel that way. We want to share our own experience. We want to share that with the guest, and we want to create this space where we all go, yeah, let's have this conversation again. This is amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
My pleasure. Thanks for
That's
having me.
amazing.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
I just wanted to take a moment to let you know that you don't have to navigate life alone. If there's something hard that you're dealing with, or you're just ready for a change, then reach out to me at randyspelling.com, or you could DM me on Instagram, also at randyspelling. And if I can help you, I will. If there's a resource that I can share with you, I will also do that as well. Thanks.